Your Olympic hero has arrived. It's true, it's true.
Alright, you read that title, boys. You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and I'm actually going to review that new South Park episode that I sort of did an anti-review of just the other day. Now, if you recall in that initial video, I said I wasn't going to bother watching it. However, in the comments, an old friend of mine, Gaming Retextured, or as I used to call him, South Park, because it's that friend from back in the day when I was one of the top 3 players in South Park LGTDP. I was number 3, my friend Duty was number 2, and this guy, South Park, was number 1. He reached out to me and said, hey, we should watch the episode together, and so we did. We actually watched the episode, so now I have seen it, and what are my thoughts? Let me get this out right out of the gate. The episode's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's actually a pretty decent episode, by modern South Park standards. I would say it's better than most of Season 25, with the possible exception of Credigree Weed, just because that one was a standout episode. It's not quite better than Season 26, for sure. Season 26 was really good. But it was better than, Season 24, Season 20, and probably Season 18 as well. Not exactly a high bar that it's better than most of the episodes in what I consider to be the worst seasons, but still it is something. It overall was not the worst episode in the world. Again, many of my criticisms in the original video still stand. There's not a lot of care with the continuity of some of that stuff. Now, it is South Park, which hasn't cared that much about continuity except for in a couple of instances. Character deaths have been one thing that has been a constant. So Satan's death, I think, is one that I still was like, well, that does fuck with continuity. And again, as I had been led to believe through the review I saw and people I'd talked to, the episode itself does just basically make Trump into Saddam. And like Kite and Chaz said in his review, it is very much like a Family Guy cutaway. It does tie in here and there to the plot of the episode. One of the things I think with this episode that I think is kind of weird, so I haven't been to school in a while, and I haven't even been to college in a while, so I am not exactly in touch with what is going on in school. I will fully 100% acknowledge that. I don't think Christianity is being pushed, and interestingly, if people think that that is the case, a lot of the people who I would think would have a problem with this are the same people who were fine with the trans agenda being pushed on kids in school, which it absolutely demonstrably was, with kids sneaking fucking recordings of their teachers, the books that were banned from the schools, which they weren't even banned, they were just not allowed on the curriculum, were pornographic in nature. Like, a lot of these books are fucking disgusting if you actually look at their content. Like, they're fucking horrible. And people would just pretend that this wasn't a thing that was going on, and now they're trying to say, oh, they're pushing Christianity, which, again, I don't believe. I haven't seen that. But again, I also think that would be far less bad than the fucking horrific shit that they're pushing. But again, I don't think they're pushing Christianity in school. However, there has been a cultural shift towards Christianity with the younger generations, because they see sort of the social cohesion that the older generations kind of abandoned. Because back when we were a lot more Christian-focused of a nation, even when I was growing up, it was pretty normal. There was a much bigger sense of community. And I think the younger generation is seeing that and wanting to go back to that, which I think is a good thing. But I think that is largely arising naturally as a response to a lot of the cultural decay that we've had due to leftism. And to be honest, I do think that the rise in Christianity that we've been seeing with a lot of young people actually has been a good thing. Again, I am a Christian. I'm a very untraditional Christian, and a lot of very, hardcore Christian stuff can be cringe. There are certain things that I disagree with a lot of Christians on when it comes to certain ways of handling things. In fact, I think a lot of the problems with Christians is they abandoned certain parts of the scripture they don't care for, which, to be fair, I think everyone's done that in one way or another with any ideology they have. And if we got back to like a Reagan-era Christian push for censorship, I'd obviously be against that too. Again, I'm very libertarian as well. I'm very, very anti-censorship. Regardless, I don't think that the Christianity being pushed in school is really the issue the episode makes it out to be. As a plot point for the episode, it works. The Cartman and Butters woke as dead stuff is funny. Cartman and Butters being a duo is great. I wish there were more of those scenes, and there's actually one issue I really do have with one of those scenes. Cartman tries to take himself and Butters out through exhaust on a hybrid car. Cartman has tried this before. This is not the first time. He should know That's not gonna fucking work. So again, continuity out the window yet again. And the specific example of that is that's from Elementary School Musical from season 13, so there you go, in case you were looking for context on that. I was originally told, Cartman and Butters had, like, a suicide pact in that review. It's actually a little bit funnier than that. Cartman's like, I'm gonna kill myself and you. It's not just a suicide pact where they mutually agree to it. Cartman's just like, no, I'm gonna kill you too. That's way funnier. But honestly, it's weird because a lot of those plots actually felt kind of short too. Like, the episode was normal length, it was 24 minutes. But I feel like a lot of things weren't as fleshed out as they could be too. And again, my criticism still stands that a lot of the Trump stuff was just, goofy, over the top. In all honesty, there is some humor in those scenes. It's very limited humor. I didn't laugh a ton at it, but I did laugh a couple times. It was largely a nostalgia bait, honestly, for like the Saddam episodes of the older seasons. So it wasn't actually anything new or original or super interesting, and that's largely what a lot of my problem with it was, is that it is just kind of recycling stuff, and it's nothing new, and comedy for the last, 8 years has been nothing but Trump jokes. So it's not exactly, revolutionary or groundbreaking or even all that funny. There are elements that were funny about it. I did get a few chuckles here and there. But nevertheless, it's not the funniest shit in the world either. What I'm hoping is that somehow Trump just turns out to be Saddam, and then Donald Trump doesn't exist in the South Park universe, because he's just exactly Saddam. If the trick is he's actually just Saddam pretending to be someone else, that could actually be really funny. Again, Satan being back was a bit odd, but then again, killing him off was a bit of an odd choice too in season 22. Again, obviously, like I said in the other one, I've been very critical of Trump as of late, these last few weeks, the last month or two even, maybe. Which is why it's funny, there were people in the comments that thought that Trump was like my idol, or that I was mad that they were ripping on Trump. If anything, I was disappointed they didn't rip on him more for some of the actual real stuff. They did make that mention of the Epstein list, and, maybe it's unrealistic to expect them to do a whole plot point of it. I mean, they did do, gags with, Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein that didn't really tackle any of the actual issues at the core. But, they're trying to be, current event, current topic, and so I was a little disappointed that there's only, a throwaway line that really touches on that. It does work with the, when they're asking about the Epstein list, he's like, hey, relax, buddy, don't worry about that. That was kind of funny. That's one of the laughs I got. But, again, it doesn't really tackle the issue, and it doesn't necessarily need to, but if that's what they're going for, they didn't really accomplish it. Instead, it's just really juvenile, haha, look at the small penis. And that's very, very juvenile and surface level, and it's they did do that with Osama bin Laden as well, with the little magnifying glasses, but it's I don't know, it's not really doing anything new or groundbreaking. Again, not that it necessarily has to, but people acting like it's this fucking ingenious takedown of Trump are fucking crazy to me. Nevertheless, there are better jokes they could have made about Trump that are more topical to the Trump blunders that he's been making. They do acknowledge the Epstein thing in a one-off comment, and I suppose it's odd to try and expect that they would have it be a whole plot point, but at the same time, if they want to go in and do current events and do what's going on and be topical, it would make sense to have fleshed that out more. However, it is just the start of a season. Who the hell knows what else they're going to do? I also fundamentally reject the narrative that Colbert was canceled over Trump. I do know that there were lawsuits, and South Park itself had lawsuits with Paramount too over the rights. There was a whole back and forth between HBO and Paramount. I don't know that I believe any of the because again, Colbert's show is failing. Late night TV is failing in general. Late night talk show hosts have just been propaganda, and it's not even particularly funny anymore. It's been rather cringe, the whole vaccine musical number that Colbert did and stuff like that. I don't care for these shows, and again, they've been failing for a while. I mean, who the hell even watches TV anymore? So I kind of reject that sort of thing where Jesus is you know what happened to Colbert? You don't want to be like Colbert, do you? Because again, I fundamentally don't think that that's why his show got canceled, and I think that itself is a little bit of maybe Trey and Matt, kind of drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit on that. It's interesting, again, in the comments, people were saying, oh, you really think that the show was failing? He just got a huge cash deal with the network. It's yeah, networks have been throwing money at bad projects because they support the narrative for a long time now. That's been a common thing, where they just want to, support each other. It's very cliquey. It's a clique. They're all buddy-buddy with each other. So of course that kind of shit happened. That doesn't mean that it's succeeding. Nobody fucking watches cable anymore. Everybody's streaming now. Like, I know that Colbert's show is likely streaming, but that gets pushed out by online content, like YouTube and independent shit. Like, it is a dying medium. Like, all the late-night talk show hosts, they all just say the same shit. The only people that actually watch it are, like, die-hard lefty cultists. And it's funny, because they'll call all of us on the right cultists. Even though basically everybody on the right has turned on Trump at this point over the Epstein shit, the Iran shit, and all the other fuck-ups he's had in the last little bit. Like, that's not to say that there's not people that just blindly believe what Trump says, because there absolutely are. But they're far rarer than people on the left think that exist. The vast, vast majority of Trump's base is fucking pissed. I honestly think that's probably why this episode is doing so well as well. We'll get into that a little more later, but I do think that is part of the reason. Again, the episode tonally actually was relatively consistent. There were elements where it did kind of feel like watching South Park again, being actual South Park. A lot of my criticisms do stand, and I still think that, I was fairly correct in my assessment with some of the stuff I said, given the information I had. Actually watching it was better than just seeing a review of it, and I will fully acknowledge that. And that's something I made clear in the other video, is that I wasn't actually informed because I hadn't seen it. The episode was alright. It was not like the best episode, it wasn't the worst episode. People are fucking crazy to make it like the highest rated fucking episode on IMDb. That is probably due to a phenomenon we call clapter. Right? People laughing at something because they agree with it. They're like laughing to clap. It's clap laughter, right? They're laughing because they agree with it. People on the left have always hated Trump. People on the right largely hate Trump now. And so, like, a lot of people on both sides now are just laughing at it because Trump is a fuck-up. And again, I'm not immune to that. I am fucking pissed. I think that Trump is sus as hell. I think the fact is, no matter which way you dissect it, whether he's on the list or not, he's at the very least protecting the people that fucking are, because he won't fucking say shit about it. And he completely 180'd on a bunch of other shit. Like, it's all, like, really, really, really bad. I don't know anyone that actually full-on supports Trump 100% anymore. I don't support Trump at all anymore. There is shit that he's done that I've liked. Like, again, early in his term, there was a lot of stuff that I liked, and I liked a lot of the immigration stuff he was dealing with the issues with that. But then the Iran thing happened, and then the fucking Epstein list happened, and then he's also given money back to Ukraine. Like, he 180'd on so much shit. So either he is in cahoots with a lot of these very fucking evil people, or he is some way compromised, whether that be through blackmail threats or bribery. I don't fucking know, and that's part of the frustration, is not knowing what the catalyst was for this big flip. And so I think it is prime time to make fun of him. I think it makes sense, because nobody fucking likes him anymore. But it's just the most generic, surface-level shit, and that was a large part of what my problem was. But I think that is why it is doing so well on IMDb, is because people are pissed at Trump right now. And so, whether or not the joke quality is actually that high, people will support it and laugh at it because they agree with it. But that's clearly just because it's making fun of Trump and people like that. So they're just like, I'd make fun of Orange Man, that's funny. I laugh. That's the funniest thing ever. Like, granted, there's some funny stuff, and even the Trump moments got some laughs out of me. Again, I'm pretty fed up with Trump. It's not that I'm mad that they're making fun of Trump. I'm all for them making fun of Trump. I do kind of like the sort of fourth wall sort of thing with Garrison no longer being Trump, how they go into Garrison's house and they confront him thinking it's him. And he's like, no, I'm just here watching this with Rick. That was kind of funny. It was also funny to hear South Park just dropping the term retarded faggot a few times in the episode. Again, that is a positive sign, I think, in the way the culture is shifting, although that is very surface level. Again, I think a lot of people get really gung-ho about, yeah, see, everybody hates the woke shit now. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's the popular notion. I still think that a lot of the core of what caused a lot of the problem in cultural decay is still there, and this is a surface-level thing to kind of throw red meat at that. Like, it feels like just being able to say certain slurs again and not be a big deal is just kind of a way to distract people from the fact that censorship is still very much a big thing. There's a bunch of shit that's still getting pulled. There's a bunch of episodes from shows that aren't on streaming services anymore. You know, there's a bunch of Always Sunny in Philadelphia episodes. There's an episode of the IT Crowd that's not on Tubi because of trans stuff. And the stuff with Always Sunny was because of, like, blackface and stuff like that. Not to mention the fact that there's a bunch of South Park episodes that aren't on Paramount Plus because of anti-Semitism. And anti-Semitism is a big thing that they go after people for right now. And that's a whole thing. And I honestly think that that might be why Sheila wasn't in the episode. We'll get to that a little bit more later. But legitimately, all of this fucking stuff about, like, anti-Semitism and stuff is just an excuse to go after people's speech for criticizing certain international conflicts and things like that are currently going on in the world. On top of that, I've seen all these articles calling this South Park's most controversial episode, and that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Because it's like, what's so controversial about it? Is it because they said retard and faggot? They've said that plenty of times before. Is it because they made fun of Trump? They did a whole season of that. That's all season 20 was. Is it because they showed the little penis? Because they've done that a bunch too. They showed it with Osama bin Laden. They showed a fucking sex change operation in Mr. Garrison's fancy new vagina. And they also showed fucking full frontal nudity in D-Yikes and proper condom use. There's a lot of really gross nudity in South Park. This is far from the first time. Admittedly, like, this is one of the few times it looks like kind of realistic, because they have like a live action segment at the end where it kind of looks real, and it's got like little googly eyes and shit on it. But again, it's not exactly breaking new ground, so when people say it's like the most controversial one, maybe only because like a lot of people like it, and then the people who dislike it are causing a stir-up, but I really don't think it's even that controversial in the fact that, you know, there's like debate about it, because I think the large, vast majority of normies like it. I do think PC Principal becoming a Christian was funny, even though I think there were fundamentally some issues with that plotline. And a major issue that I still think stands is, first off, why is Randy spearheading the charge against the Christianity in school? Marshas are Christian. They always have been. Why the hell isn't Sheila even in the episode? Sheila should be fucking spearheading this. Sheila is always the one that goes out with this. She's the one who got mad at it in Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh. She's the one who got mad at the Canadian broadcasting stuff in Death. She's the whole fucking catalyst for the plot of the movie because of going to war with Canada. Literally all of that was Sheila. So why the hell is it fucking Randy who's leading the charge? It makes no damn sense. And again, as I said before, it's probably because Paramount's already pulling a bunch of episodes for anti-Semitism, quote-unquote. And they did the same thing with Nathan For You, even though Nathan Fielder's literally Jewish. So I think that that's why Sheila's not in the episode at all, because having the nagging, fat, old Jewish mom being the one to cause a stir-up, I think that Paramount probably wouldn't allow that now, given all the fucking episodes of there, because they're pulling some really surface-level ones. Like, it's pretty fucking ridiculous. Like, just look at the list online. There's a lot. Like, granted, they're still on Max right now, or at least, you know, the ones that aren't banned from Max, like, you know, the Muhammad ones are all banned from Max, but you know what I mean. Like, other than that, they're still on Max, and again, even the fact that they're banned from Max, like, people saying, oh, yeah, see, they're saying slurs again, that means woke is dead. It's like, okay, then why the hell haven't all these episodes that have been pulled from all these services been reinstated? Why the hell isn't all of that, like, coming to an end? Why are they still, like, being careful with that? Everything's safe edgy now. And so, like, they're trying to see, look, we're edgy again, but it's safe edgy. And people just ignore that because they get thrown the red meat of, haha, he said faggot. So, you know, it's pretty surface level shit that I think is easily to distract people from the fact that there is still shit getting censored. I could see Randy getting up and joining a mob that had already started, but I don't think he's going to start a mob over something that he shouldn't particularly have that big of an objection to. So again, the episode, a lot of my criticisms stand. My original video, I think, is still relatively my thoughts. It's not a bad episode, but it's certainly not great, and it definitely doesn't fucking deserve to be, like, #1 on IMDb. And again, the episode, like, would I have regretted not having seen it, knowing now that it was, like, okay? No, I probably would have been fine not seeing it, but it was good to reconnect with an old friend and experience it in a watch party, so that was fun. So for that reason, I did enjoy it, and I did enjoy my time with the episode, and that's part of the thing that actually is a little frustrating about it, is there is a lot of potential with the 3 kind of individual plots that they have. But since none of them are particularly fleshed out, and a lot of them are kind of retreading old ground, there is, you know, not a whole lot of that potential utilized. Like I said, tonally, there is a feel where at moments it does kind of feel like old South Park, and, like, the beginning of the episode is all fucking golden. There's, like, some really good moments in this episode. So again, by modern South Park standards, this is a good episode. But it's nothing compared to, like, Golden Age South Park, and I don't even think it stacks up to Season 26, really. Like, maybe it's better than some of the lesser Season 26 episodes, you know, like Deep Learning, and stuff like that. But I don't think that, it stacks up anywhere close to, you know, Golden Age South Park or, like, really early South Park. Like, there's elements there. There are things to like, and I do get why people like it. But I do think that a lot of the overpraise it's getting is just because everybody is fucking pissed at Trump right now. But that's all I really have to say. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Doodles.